And we're back, yo people of YouTube. Welcome to my channel. I'm Ishe Jindu or Zinyati. And today we're gonna be talking about a broader side of real estate. As you all know, I'm a real estate agent in Zimbabwe. I love it, I'm grinding in it. It's an uphill battle, but hey, the view's gonna be immaculate when we make it to the top. But when it comes to being a real estate agent, I think there are a few general assumptions most people have about the industry. If I came up to you and introduced myself as a real estate agent, your first thought and assumption is that this guy sells houses, which is most probably true, even though in the broad spectrum of things, that's just 1/3 of the real estate I could be selling. And also attached to that assumption is that if this guy's selling residential real estate, he's doing it in the suburbs. And last week, while I was just rolling around real estate YouTube, I came across some interesting information that I became engrossed in. So engrossed in fact, that I decided to make an entire video on it. Because to me as a real estate agent, wanting to focus on residential real estate, things just weren't adding up as I thought they would. Because I'd be in the same camp as you. If I met a real estate agent, he's selling houses. If he's selling houses, he's selling them in the suburbs. So when I came across a population study that stated 54% of the world's population has urbanized, as in moving as close as possible to the CBD, the heart of the city, instead of the comfortable lifestyle of the suburban areas, I was more than a little bit interested. And after some prolonged research, I realized this is the trend. In 1965, only 33% of the world's population was located in cities. And base estimations have it that by the year 2050, 68% of the world's population is going to permanently move to live in the city. But why? So subscribe for real, like this video, share this video, and allow me to explain why the suburbs as a concept is pretty much absolutely unnatural. Let's get into it. If you ever took geography as a class, I'm pretty sure you're well versed in the fact that cities as a grand structure are pretty much organized in 3 layers in a concentric manner. And from out going in, it's the rural areas, the suburbs, and the city. And specifically in the world of real estate, you're usually going to be working with 3 forms of real estate in these 3 areas in differing ratios. Residential real estate, where you live, commercial real estate, where you trade, and production real estate, where you make stuff. And to cut the long story short on the relationship between the regions of real estate and the types of real estate, you just need to understand how population density works and how basic economics works. Pretty much on the regional zone level of a city, the more you come in, the more densely populated the area becomes. So more people per square kilometer are living in the urban area, the city heart, than live in the suburbs, than live in the rural areas. And this fact directly feeds into the economic laws of demand and supply, directly influencing why the 3 types of properties show up in each region in the ratios that they do. More people want to operate closer to other people and other businesses because it opens more opportunities and it's more convenient. And as such, demand goes up, supply goes down, and the overall price of properties closer to the city core skyrockets. And this becomes a significant factor in the types of properties you find in each region. Starting with the outermost rural area, which is probably the easiest to understand, it's the least densely populated, and as such, it's also the cheapest land around. Regarding the 3 main types of property you can find in a region, rural properties are more attractive to production real estate. The type of real estate that needs a huge amount of land. Farms, production plants for large goods like cars, or for the production of materials like steel, pretty much anything that requires a vast amount of land and isn't dependent on day-to-day sales from people is gonna be located in the rural areas. Because A, the land is so much cheaper out there, and B, the land is so much cheaper out there. In contrast to this, you're not gonna find a lot of commercial real estate in rural areas, and you're not gonna find a lot of residential real estate in rural areas. And this makes sense from what I mentioned before. All things being kept equal, businesses will always operate better in areas that are densely populated. The more densely populated an area is, the more opportunities you get to sell. And as such, all things being kept equal, businesses would always rather relocate to highly densely populated areas. And in a symbiotic relationship to that, the more businesses come to an area, the more people want to live in that area. People like convenience. They don't want to go 5 kilometers that way for a supermarket, 5 kilometers that way for a hospital, and how many kilometers that way for school. The more commercial amenities are concentrated in an area, the more residential real estate is going to pop up in that area. And as such, rural areas just don't do too well for commercial real estate and residential real estate. If we can all largely agree with the statement that people chase opportunities, opportunities make business, and businesses make other opportunities, we're all going to be on the same page with this. But if we also agree with that notion, suburbs start to make less and less sense as we go along, as I'll explain now. Starting off with something that will make sense irregardless of whether or not suburbs are natural or natural is that in both suburbs and the city, you're not going to find a production plant. Production plants just require too much space, and when you get to both the suburbs and the city, the price of that space skyrockets astronomically. You're not putting a Tesla mega factory in the heart of a city, no matter what. The price is just too damn high. But now onto something that you might want to fight me on. The city is both the most logical place to be for commercial real estate and residential real estate, and the suburbs just don't really make sense if everything is going well. Let me explain. So to begin with, what exactly makes a suburb and a city in the first place? Let's start with a city. A city is essentially opportunity and efficiency maximized. You're close to home, you're close to work, you're close to everything that you can spend money on. Everything you want and need is as close as it possibly can be. Cities are natural because they're unbiasedly driven by economic forces. People need to work, work is found in cities, therefore it's only logical and efficient to bring people into the city. As the economy grows and flourishes, the city expands outwards, not the development of the suburban area. Which is why there's a strong correlation between the wealthiest countries in the world and their rate of urbanization. The top 3 richest countries in the world, Qatar, Macau, and Singapore, their urbanization rates look like this. And inversely to that, the top 3 poorest countries in the world, the Central African Republic, Burundi, and the DRC, their rate of urbanization looks like this. Strictly speaking, where efficiency is the name of the game, urbanization is just how it's done. And then we get to suburbs, which just don't make the efficiency cut, even though that's what their purpose is. Suburb. Substitute urban area. You see, where suburbs fail first is that they prioritize housing over commerce, instead of the organic cycle of cities where commerce and residency are all intertwined in encouraging each other. Where there's more commerce, there's more residence. Where there's more residence, there's more commerce. That's just how the organic flow of cities works. When you force the imbalance of residency over commerce, you're gonna have a bad time. And to reinforce this, as a real estate agent, I can confidently tell you the most popular and most expensive neighborhoods are those suburban areas that aim to be the most city-like as possible. Densely populated areas like gated communities, close to as many amenities as possible, schools, hospitals, shopping malls, anything you can spend your money on. But at its core, because the suburbs forced residency over commerce, there's always inefficiency. There's never enough work and opportunity in a suburban neighborhood to satisfy the suburban population, which basically equates to suburban residents having to inefficiently commute to and fro from work to home, day in, day out, 365. Congestion, fuel prices, car tax, car maintenance and repairs. Cities sort this out by organically having extensive transit networks and systems built into the design and layout of the city. And if you think driving to and fro from these places day in and day out isn't that much of a hassle, consider this bit of information. For the population of New York that isn't directly in the city, in the urban areas, they're expected to average out 4.5 hours of commuting every day, 365, which basically equates to 2.5% of your life on the road, plus the general negatives of just being on the road. So if all this is the case, and suburbs are as unnatural as I'm stating them out to be, why do they exist in the first place? Well, dear subscribers and soon-to-be subscribers, I think that can be answered with the following sentence. People don't really move into the suburbs, but instead they escape the city when the city doesn't keep its promises, or they abandon the city when what the city offers isn't what you're after. For the first statement of escaping the city when it doesn't keep its promises, I'm talking about how at its core, a city is founded, survives, and thrives when it offers opportunity and convenience. If it doesn't offer the opportunities of work, commerce, and entrepreneurship, out you go. If it does offer those economic opportunities, but it's not at a convenient cost, say high crime rate, high pollution, crazy people in the streets, out you go. And the second statement of abandoning the city, even though it offers what it says it offers, but what it offers isn't what you value anymore. Say you want to retire somewhere comfortable and quiet, a larger plot of land somewhere tropical, or you're still invested in what the city offers, but you're raising a family and you don't want your kids in that rat race. In that case, you move to the suburbs. It's quieter, it's safer, but it's also further away from the city and more inconvenient for you and your aspirations. And to finally bring it back to my initial statement on how 54% of the world's population is now located in the city, and by 2050 it's expected to be 68%, it's only natural. As all across the world, crime rates go down, economies go up, and people get more invested in their careers instead of settling down, more people are going to move into the cities. It's inevitable and it's natural. That is, of course, nothing crazy happens like massive crime rates spiking in cities, crazy looting and rioting in cities worldwide, and some sort of weird virus just suddenly comes out of nowhere and makes it super dangerous to be living in densely populated areas like cities. And all in all, being in a city just doesn't seem like it's worth it. But what are the chances of that? For now, I've been your host, Ishe Jindu or Zinyati. Subscribe for real, smash the like button, share this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.